Coming to you live from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. This is the truth behind the music with the Madman CJ and Mixmaster Clint on American Freedom Radio. The Truth Behind the Music is a show dedicated to musicians that write music about the freedom and truth movement.
We are connecting with these musicians to give you their stories, fears, and information on a personal level. Political commentation is seldom seen in the music world, but we feel we are giving you something new inside the freedom movement.
After researching, we have discovered that the music industry is just as controlled as any other mainstream media, and we feel we're going to do something about that right here on American Freedom Radio. You're listening to The Truth Behind the Music with the Madman CJ and Mixmaster Clint on Liberty Radio 1710. All right, welcome to another show, The Truth Behind the Music with the Madman CJ.
Mixmaster Clint here.
On American Freedom Radio. We want to thank all of our affiliates for picking up The Truth Behind the Music nationwide. And everybody out there on Liberty Radio 1710. We are broadcasting live from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. We got a lot of good things going on here in Minnesota, and I just wanted to big up the Tea Party that is going to be April 15th at the state capitol. It's going to start at 5 p.m., and it's going to go until 9 p.m. We've got a great line of entertainment, speakers, jam-packed full there. It's sponsored by the Freeze Dry Guy and truthaboutminnesota.org. So make sure you go to thefreezedryguy.com and support the sponsors that are supporting the movement for freedom in America. We got a great show lined up for you. Mixmaster, why don't you go ahead and tell us about today's show with Janet and Stewart Swerdlow.
Yeah, today we got something a little bit different. Today we're going to be covering an analysis of Truth Behind the Music with different pop artists, and we're going to discuss the symbolism in the music, hidden messages in the lyrics, influence of the music frequencies on the brain, witchcraft, Illuminati propaganda in mainstream music, and how to identify these artists and record labels that use this propaganda in their music.
It's going to be very important for everybody that is listening right now, whether you're on American Freedom Radio or any other network across the nation, to get your kids that listen to this music on this show, because the information that's going to be disclosed on this show is very, very seldom talked about. And it's very important that you understand what the music industry is using against your mind and your body. We're also going to be covering how the music industry is using music frequencies to actually bring sickness upon the body. It's very important. So we got a great show, like I said, with Janet and Stewart Swerdlow. And they are the mind control experts. I mean, these guys are great on how they cover and have exposed it, not only exposing it and uncovering the truth, but they are living experience with the mind control from the United States government. I think Stewart has been through the ringer with mind control in the government. I'm sure he's going to talk a little bit about that and give a little bio on them so that you'll have a great understanding on the knowledge that we're bringing to the truth behind the music. Usually we have a lot of music that we play right now, and like I said, today is going to be a little different. We're going to just be covering a 2-hour talk show because there's so much to go over. We got one of Lady Gaga's songs here. What song is it, Mix?
Yeah, we got Lady Gaga, Bad Romance.
Yeah, Bad Romance. We're going to dissect this song with Janet and Stewart Swerdlow, and we're going to go through and show you exactly where the witchcraft is, exactly where the mind control is. I mean, this stuff right now, the music industry better be scared, because the truth behind the music is on the scene, coming to you live from Minneapolis, St. Paul. This is the Madman CJ.
Mixmaster Clint here.
On American Freedom Radio. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, welcome back to the truth behind the music with the Madman CJ.
And Mixmaster Clint here.
On American Freedom Radio. All right, we got a little bit of static on our end, but we're getting that cleaned up there on producer's end. So I'd like to welcome in our guest on The Truth Behind the Music on April 11th, 2010, which would be Janet and Stewart Swerdlow. You are live on the air with us, Janet and Stewart.
Oh, it's nice to be here.
And I'm here, too.
All right. Nice to have you guys on the show. We've got a lot of great things to talk about. I know we've been speaking throughout the week and the last few weeks, actually, about some interesting things that are going on in the music industry. You guys like to comment on any of that?
Well, that's a very big topic, and that's been going on for decades now. But the Illuminati like to use the music industry to transmit programming instructions, subliminals, imprinting, that kind of a thing. And
a lot of symbolism is being used right now. And, you know, back in the 80s, it was interesting because the symbolism was more hidden. And even the backmasking in the music back then was more hidden. Today it is, you know, so plain and blatant that you can play something backwards and you don't have to listen very hard to get the message at all. I mean, it's pretty evident now. Have you guys noticed a change in the way things were back in the 70s and the 80s to where they are today?
Well, one thing that I do notice, and this is maybe a little bit comical in a way, but back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you kind of had people that had a bit of a talent when they sang or when they entertained. Since the 90s and now, you don't have to have any talent in order to be in the music industry. You just have to be a programmed icon that can trigger people when they hear you, see you, read about you, and then you can sing lyrics that will trigger them. So the change that I notice a lot is that there's really a lot of no-talent people up there, and they just have all kinds of get-ups that are designed to trigger people, and it's more basically on the words and the music, as you say.
Well, and the other thing you want to remember, too, is back in the 60s and 70s that we didn't really have all the video clips that are out there now. And now there are music channels devoted to basically watching the people act. And if whatever people will do, they do it. And it doesn't have to be, as Stewart said, talented. It just has to be, you stand there, somebody dresses you up, and you go through the moves, and you voice a little bit of music, so to speak, and there you have it. And people get hooked on these videos.
Yeah, let's talk about one in particular, which everybody kind of seems to rag on in the music industry. But let's talk about Britney Spears for just a second. And I want to go through and how they used mind control on her, because in my and I could be wrong, but in my persuasion of what has happened there is she stepped out of line of the Illuminati. And they may have used some mind control on her to get her back in tech, because she went from mad, stark, and crazy to performing within a week and being just like she was when she was, in her younger days in the music industry. Do you have any knowledge on if she was actually under any MK2 or anything like that?
Well, first of all, anybody who gets to the level of popularity or as a global star as someone like Britney Spears or Madonna or even Michael Jackson, right away you know that they're a programming icon. They're there because of programming and no other reason. That's how they get as far as they do. Now, for someone like Britney Spears, if you remember, she shaved her head. Everybody shaved her head. It's like a Simon Says thing. Whatever she does, they do. Whatever any icon will do, the other people do it. And there is an issue sometimes in programming, which is called programming overload. And what that means is when they put too much in the mind too quickly, you have a reaction like what we witnessed with Britney Spears, where she kind of went off the deep end. And so they have to bring her back in, download a lot of the programs, shuffle around some of the functions in her pattern, and then they put her back out on the market, and it's a whole new revamped icon.
But of course, the people who are out there following her, Stewart says, shave head, shave head. She went through a lot of things with her children, misbehaving with them, so to speak, having them sit on her lap while she was driving the car. I mean, lots of things went on with her, but the public still stayed with her. And the same thing with Michael Jackson hanging the baby over the balcony. I mean, he was criticized for it, but the public stays with them because they are so entrenched in the programming icon that whatever